That's right. It's Thursday Thunder, and it's brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear all about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Oh, yeah.
Tony, what do we got?
Dano, tonight we've got a true Thursday Thunder. Thank you.
That didn't feel like a true Thursday Thunder. That sounded like fake thunder to me.
Well, that was fake thunder.
This is real thunder.
Sounded real to me.
No, this is real. All right. So the 4-pick parlay went so well last time that we're going to go back to the well in hopes for a different result, Dan. 4-pick parlay tonight for Thursday night football. This was put together by Mike Ryan, by the way, because I'm an over guy. I'm not an under guy. I don't like being the under guy, Dan.
Oh, he's
I'm
going
the over
unders.
guy.
Nobody likes being
the under guy. Mike Ryan has under 37 as the first leg. 37 is not a lot of points.
Good God.
That's very low.
It's a very low
I don't
score.
hate that, though. Steelers defense, damn good.
Second leg, Cleveland Browns plus 7.5.
So you're telling me that we are going tonight to Flanagan's to have a watch
Thank God.
party. And Flanagan's, I warn you, we bring a lot of people with us wherever we go. Be ready for what it is that we're bringing your way. We're bringing your way less than 37 points. A football game with less than 37
Just
points.
start cooking the rib rolls now.
Yeah,
'cause
but I
you're
have
gonna
20
need
of them, yeah. So Cleveland Browns plus 7.5. That's the second leg. Next one, over half of an interception for Jameis Winston tonight.
Money in the bank.
Half.
I'm gonna put my entire my daughter's entire college fund into
Well
that
said.
tonight.
Well said.
Last leg, under 3.5 total touchdowns for both teams. So that's under 37. Cleveland Browns plus 7.5. Over half an interception for Jameis Winston. Under 3.5 total touchdowns for both teams gives you a plus 400 parlay.
Jessica, why are you making the stink face at Tony? What don't you like about what he's saying?
It's fine.
It's Mike's, not mine.
I know. I'm not
Just
making
a
a stink
messenger.
face at Tony. I think that you're putting not a lot of faith in the Steelers offense. But the other side of that is it's Thursday night after a big divisional game on Sunday. And the Steelers on Thursday night in divisional games have historically just not been very good. So I think the reasoning, I see both sides of the reasoning there.
sides.
But I'm hoping that the Steelers score 40 points and win in a blowout and hit all of the overs. So
So you
but
are
I'm also
actively rooting against the parlay.
I think that
The
happens.
Thursday
That
Thunder.
happens every week. We all we root against each other's picks and against the spread in Thursday Thunder.
Real piece.
Me?
Yeah. Wow. Joel Embiid. Look, hey, man. Are we in this together or not? Not?
A real one.
It's
Real
Mike's
pe-
parlay.
Yeah,
I
but you
just said I
sound-
think his reasoning is I understand where he's coming from. The Steelers
But then
on
you
Thursday
said
night.
you hope they score 40 in a blowout.
She sees bullshit.
Yeah, because I'm a Steelers fan.
Well,
I'm
don't
not
you
gonna
want-
lie. Do you think I should lie to our audience and say, yeah, I hope the Steelers don't score more
No.
than 2 touchdowns?
You should hope the Steelers win. Why do you care whether they score 40 or 4? If they win 4-0,
Well, the
you'd be
more
happy,
points
right?
they score, the more likely they are to win.
4-0 would be amazing.
2 safeties, and then they win.
Electric.
Wouldn't you be happy? You'd
Yeah,
be-
I would be happy.
Okay, so
I
then-
would be very happy.
And then we also
that
win
would
the
be
parlay.
everyone would be so mad if the Steelers won a game without kicking a field goal or scoring a touchdown. It would be the funniest thing that's ever happened.
It'd be another notch on his belt, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, it would be awesome. All right, I'm rooting for that.
There you go. See?
4-0 Steelers. That's what I'm rooting for tonight.
That's how you build culture.
If tonight's game ends 4-0, Dan will pay for the tab for the entire bar.
Yes.
Yes, Dan.
That's fine. Everybody put their phones
bet on you.
in the middle of the table here. I want everybody's phones
There we go.
because Jessica's a real piece. I
Nothing
want
to hide.
everybody's phones right
Nothing
here.
to hide. Here we
in,
go.
In the middle. Hubie Brown is in the middle of his final season. It has been announced. Again, everybody put your phones
You
in
think
here.
this is a joke?
I don't. You
You
guys,
think it's
just
this is a
phones,
game?
phones right here. Everybody put
I don't
your
have a
phones
phone,
right
Dan.
here.
I don't have a
Dan,
phone.
Don't worry.
Everybody put
You can
your
see how
phones here.
willing, but you can see the guilty ones by how willing they are to do this.
Yes, I also just saw how my leadership style is just the first time is always ignored, and then I have to ask several times. I just talked to you guys about that in the meeting before the show. Like, I don't know why you guys make me ask for things several times. You guys, it's just the opposite of what running a business is supposed to work like, but you guys always make me ask for things multiple times. Hubie Brown, at 91 years old, is one of the rare people who is actually getting an ending that has some grace on it. Retiring at 91 years old, I hope he gets all of the applause that he deserves as somebody who has been a distinguished voice for what it is that Amin is talking about, saying the NBA needs more of it in marketing and otherwise, which is just someone who's joyful about the game, someone who loves what they're watching, as opposed to giving you what Jeff Van Gundy made the league so mad about, because he wasn't just always giving you positivity and joy about the game, even though obviously he loves the game.
I mean, the man's been doing that for 52 years, 5'2".
I've seen this before on social media where they trace the beginnings of basketball, that Hubie Brown has ties to all of basketball, basically the entirety of the NBA and beyond. Obviously, he wasn't around when Dr. Naismith created the game, but...
Yes, he was.
The good doctor.
Yes, he was. He knew him before he was a doctor, before he got his doctorate.
when he was just Jimmy Naismith.
Yes, he was
a ne'er-do-well.
He did. He called him Jimmy when they were rollicking throughout the 1800s, whenever it was.
Jimmy, what are you doing with that peach basket, man? Jimmy's crazy.
He knew Jimmy when Jimmy used the peach basket for peaches. Before he was using it as the basket. I appreciate the fake laugh there. I miss it from Stugotz. Thank you. I mean, Snoop Dogg has revealed that Stevie Wonder FaceTimes him.
No, buddy.
Closer to a real laugh. I'll get you to real laugh. Put up the video, please, of Jay Leno, Jay Leno's face. Jay Leno, again, had an incredible old man injury. He fell down a hill. His entire left side is purple, black, and blue. It wasn't a hill. It was more like a cliff. And the most shocking detail in that story was that he was staying in a Hampton Inn 30 miles outside of Pittsburgh. And when I read the story the first time, I legitimately thought that it said Hamptons, that he fell down a hill in the Hamptons, which would make more sense to me than him falling down a hill outside of a Hampton Inn in Pittsburgh. I really don't understand how it is that Jay Leno is still on the comedy club grind of going to Pittsburgh for any reason to perform.
Well, Dan, we have several updates on this story. Update number one comes as a character testimony. It comes from one Brad Williams, who, when we said, why would this guy who's with all this money be doing the Chitlin circuit pretty much, hitting up small comedy clubs on the circuit? And he said, this is according to Brad Williams, he's just wired that way. He's a strange guy. All he wants to do is do stand-up and mess around with his cars pretty much. And so, like, the trappings of fame don't appeal to Jay Leno. So that would say, okay, makes sense. But we got another update. This is courtesy of Billy Gill, courtesy of Pete Sirianni. You remember him back at ESPN Radio? Courtesy of the Pittsburgh Tribune, where it turns out neither employees at the Hampton Inn nor Dino's, the restaurant that was at the bottom of the hill, remember seeing Jay Leno at any moment this last weekend.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Right. And then we get a third update courtesy of Jeremy Taché.
Well, I don't have my phone, so I don't have all the details with me at this point. But there was a fan of the show who DM'd me on Instagram and said that their parents have a place 15 minutes away from that Hampton Inn, sent me a picture of a Google Maps of the reported giant hill that Jay Leno fell down. And let me tell you, Dan, not a very large hill.
Not at all. I saw the picture.
So we're questioning the story?
I'm telling you, we're going back to our theory from yesterday. Again, hit the regular speculation sounder for those who missed it.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation. You're good.
Unpaid gambling debts.
You
That
can't
is
do that.
Really reckless.
You can't do that.
We played the reckless speculation.
Right,
He's
that's
good.
all.
No,
That's
but
what the sound
Stugotz
is for.
wasn't here to say that it's good.
Roy
You
said
can't
it.
do
I
that.
just said it.
No, but
Roy said it.
Stugotz has to say it. It's not the same as Roy saying it.
What does that mean?
Why
He's
not?
next door. I can go get him.
Stugotz is the authority on giving us the ability to do things that are, flammable, illegal, and potentially libelous.
Stugotz, I'm talking to Chris Sims right now, but I kind of feel like this is one of those times. Like he's texting. Stugotz is the leak. First of all, number one. Number two, I think if he would agree to interrupt his interview for just a second, just to give us the clearance, Do I have your permission, Dan?
No, I don't want to keep doing this. We're okay. We need to move away from you saying that Jay Leno is purple because he's got unpaid gambling debt.
I'm just saying.
That is a nasty fall. So first of all, I need Jeremy to get his phone back because I want to know what part of Pittsburgh this was in. Because Pittsburgh as a whole, if you've ever been, extremely hilly. My grandparents' house that they lived in for 100 years in Pittsburgh actually had, like, it was built on a hill. Everything's built like it's the Shire. Everything's built into a hill in Pittsburgh, and they had a hill in their backyard. And we would go hiking around there in like these little hills all the time in Pittsburgh. And I've fallen down a hill in Pittsburgh before. I took a nasty tumble. It wasn't crap. Exactly. It wasn't quite as bad as Jay Leno's, but I find this plausible. There's a lot of very you would be shocked by how steep some of even the smaller hills in Pittsburgh are. There's rocks, there's debris, there's trees, there's roots.
Jessica, I hear you. I appreciate your perspective. Two things. Number one, this wasn't Pittsburgh. This is 30 minutes outside of Pittsburgh.
Still hilly.
Number two,
I'm a huge piece of
Number
Hilly.
three,
Number
A real
three.
piece of not a huge piece. It's
Real,
small.
real.
It's a small piece. It's not a huge piece of. It's a real piece of.
Number three, I done seen the hill. Jeremy showed it to me. It's
I want
not
to
that
see
kind of
it.
hill.
Why didn't you send it to
Well,
me?
we're
Is
still
this the
doing
Hampton Inn by the airport? Like where is
It's
this
30
Hampton
minutes
Inn?
outside of Pittsburgh.
it's
Is
not
how
the
it was
one by the airport.
reported.
I'm a little skeptical about. I just saw the video of him pulling up the eye patch, and one side of his face looks like Phantom of the Opera, with whole side absolutely bruised. Do you fall down a hill just on one side the whole way down?
No rolling.
Do you roll? Do things fly up? Do you hit certain places? Dan, it can't be that the right or left side of his face just went all the way down
Well,
the
but
hill.
his right, he's got broken appendages on his right hand. I also ask you to look up for me and help me with this because Jimmy Fallon has showed up a couple of times on the Tonight Show where he's just injured, where he's got something that happened to him. Like he also does some falling down on occasion, has a history of it. I don't know what it is with these Tonight Show hosts.
I wonder what it is.
What is the reporting on Jimmy Fallon that
I
you
think,
can give me?
and I will confirm it here in a moment, but I believe what he explained the hand injury to be was that he had dropped his wedding ring down a sink and went to go grab it and destroyed his finger or something like that. I'll confirm those details.
Hold on a second.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
Oh, good.
Somehow I believe it. I got whispered something in my ear that made me a lot less reckless.
It appears that Jay Leno was in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, which is not far from Latrobe, where the Steelers have their fall camp. Very hilly around there.
The beer.
Also, not far from Johnstown. Have you guys ever read David McCullough's epic about the Johnstown flood? Great
Have
book.
I?
It is excellent, but there's a lot of hills in that area, Dan.
Fall camp?
Yeah, like their training camp at St. Vincent's in Latrobe.
Falling.
Oh, I
Jimmy
get it.
Fallon fell on a rug and tried to catch himself on a counter where his finger then got stuck on the counter and was basically ripped apart.
We've all been there.
Sounds plausible. Dan, here's the other thing about Jay Leno. If we could bring up his picture one more time. Jay Leno with the eye patch off, please. Cue it up. You know what he looks like? Looks like Harvey Dent.
Yeah, Two-Face.
Two-Face.
Oh,
which brings us
there
back
is.
to Batman Forever on Cinephobe this week, wherever you get podcasts.
It does look a little bit like makeup because he is so purple, and I don't know that I've seen a human being
Bad skin week.
quite that purple before.
Johnstown, also near Altoona. Altoona is famous for the railroad track that goes around a curve. If you ever need something soothing to watch late at night, YouTube.com, Altoona Curve. It's also a minor league baseball team. The oldest roller coaster in the world, I believe, is in Altoona.
Is it?
It's wooden. It's still operational. My cousins have ridden on it. I've never been on it. But the railroad, the train goes around this curve. It's like a horseshoe. It's wonderful.
You're just full of delight today.
There it is. There it is. That's the curve.
Oh,
Put it on the poll, please, at Batard Show. Is Altoona famous for a train track that goes around a curb? Because I did not know that was a... okay. Curve. Thank you for the correction. I did not know that that was something that I didn't realize that we were going to land in a Pittsburgh adjacent wheelhouse where Jessica couldn't find enough things that she's interested in.
I'm just saying, if something's going to happen in Western PA, it's going to be an old guy falling. It's very plausible. It's very plausible.
Okay, well, Amin is not here to believe it. I don't know what happened in your ear there or what the reckless speculation was going to be. I thought
Flanagan's, where they serve alcohol, where we'll be
there
some.
tonight. Yes, you should be there with us tonight. 13205 Biscayne Boulevard in North Miami. We do not do much of this. Kickoff 8:15. Steelers versus Browns. Can you guys get me? Speaking of things that I have mentioned several times that I want that I do not get because I have to mention things several times around here and do not get them. The gas bag of the week, please. Do we have a gas bag of the week that I've been requesting here for a long time?
We do. We have a fun one, and it's the Jets fans not happy with Sauce Gardner right now. It's been a long time since he's even had an interception. Brandon Tierney is a host for WFAN, and, you know, Sauce Gardner's been playing golf. He's not tackling people. He's a small... Jets fans not happy, and Brandon Tierney is speaking to that about Sauce Gardner.
Hey, Sauce, little chillier today out here in the New Jersey, New York area. I get that, but I'm sure you can still squeeze in a few more rounds of golf, looking at the 10-day weather forecast. So feel free to go out there and, you know, work on that lob wedge and those leg putts and those 5-irons and little knockdown shots, whatever you do. And while you're at it, how about you mix in a protein shake and hit a weight? I mean, that's it. You know what? I'm not calling him Sauce anymore. Ahmed Gardner is officially back to being Ahmed Gardner. You don't deserve it. You can't tackle for shit.
Damn.
Gas bag of the week.
Dan, it's hard for me not to take a victory lap. There are so many things. You know what? When I'm dead and gone, I'm going to be up in heaven. I'm going to look down on the sports media landscape, and I'm going to see so many things. That's me. Y'all do this because of me. Patino game. People not walking. They do that because of me. Calling guys by their real names as opposed to their nicknames. You're doing that because of me. Look at me, Louis.
You invented that.
I created all of these cultural touchstones of how we talk about sports. Do I get a thank you? No. Instead, I get snitches, and I got to collect phones here. That's what I get.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being a content creator, an inventor. Thank you for being a star Meadowlark employee who is perpetually doing good work.
I love my sponsors, too.
Can you get me the stat of the day, please, as well, Chris?
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Sauce Gardner, who was being talked about last year as the best cornerback in the game, has gone 35 straight games without an interception. I legitimately didn't know he had played 35 games. 375 different NFL players have intercepted a pass since Gardner's last pick. He is allegedly addicted to golf, and so a lot of people that are mad at the Jets and mad at Sauce Gardner for not being very good anymore, and I thought he was great last year. I am confused by why he's not good, are blaming it on this quote-unquote golf addiction.
How do you pursue that addiction when the weather is terrible? Look, because it's cold now. You can't hit the links in New York. So how exactly do they think it is impacting him right now?
People play golf like year-round in a lot of places, even when it's
York?
cold. Some courses stay open. New York also, like, it doesn't get that cold there anymore.
Yeah, it's warm now.
It just doesn't.
Look, I'm not an expert cornerback analyst, but I am wondering, like, we used to give Nnamdi Asomugha all this credit for not intercepting the ball because they wouldn't throw his way. Sauce Gardner, reputationally, is one of the best corners, so is there not a chance that, at least for a portion of this time, it was because people were avoiding throwing at him?
You haven't been watching Jets games. That's what it is.
No, I clearly haven't.
You have not, because he has been
lost every play.
Lost in the sauce?
We're going to ask Mina Kimes about this in a little bit. She's going to be on with us. And I'm not going to talk to her about some of the news that broke yesterday in the New York Post, but I do wonder how the rest of you experienced that Around the Horn, it's now being reported, is going to be gone after 23 years, an amazing run for a show that now becomes, in the new ESPN, less important. I imagine that they'll just fill it with football, that football is just going to be everywhere, and
Gambling.
I would imagine, I don't know anything here, so I am Mike Greenberg. I don't know anything. I'm not reporting any facts.
I
But
haven't spoken to anybody either.
but I do know that it is ending and that the reports are true, and I am made sad by this as someone who saw so many of the people that we care about come through to the spotlight of media fame and voice through that show, whether it is Pablo Torre or Bomani Jones or Tony Reale or Mina Kimes. It was a place where voices have been developed, and the original incarnation of that show was with Max Kellerman.
Mm-hmm.
Max Kellerman overplayed his hand, and they went down the hall and got somebody who was interning at
Stat
PTI to host the show. And the advice that Tony Reale was given about 20 plus years ago was just keep your head down, don't ask for payment, don't say anything, they'll forget, just keep hosting. Just keep hosting, and a 20-year career was born out of somebody was down the hall, and he was great at that show and made everyone around him enjoy that show, made people feel special, created a sense of family and community around that show. And here you see a photo of Stugotz, who appeared on that show a handful of times and
It's like a drowned rat.
enjoyed that show. That is a cleaned up Stugotz.
That's cleaned up?
That is very clean.
That's Stugotz.
That's as clean as you will ever see Stugotz. Stugotz didn't dress that well for my wedding, where he was next door brushing his teeth and changing his sneakers on a lawn next door.
Oh, man. I saw him. Stugotz, I know we've told this story before, but it is a classic Stugotz story. Stugotz showed up late to Dan's wedding, and I saw him get out of the Uber brushing his teeth as he approached. He had a button-up shirt, jeans, sneakers, and a baseball cap on.
Took the cap off, though,
He did
out of
take the
respect
cap
for you, Dan.
You guys feel any kind of way about this, or just another program that's gone?
No, I'm
It's
miserable about it.
23 years.
This was in part what sparked my passion for wanting to do this.
Really?
Was this show. I wanted to be Tony Reale. I still kind of want to be Tony Reale. He
Who doesn't?
That show was so entertaining. It brought in so many voices and allowed you to hear a whole bunch of different perspectives without what First Take has become, which is just like truly screaming at each other, because Reale did such an incredible job of keeping it as organized chaos. And now I'm also biased. I interned with them, and so I know the production crew and the family. The family environment that you talk about, Dan, like, it is so fostered through that group and through like the joy that they bring into that studio every day, and it comes through your television. And this is a staple of all of our childhoods and all of what sports media has been for the last 2 decades. So to see it go away I'm really, really heartbroken about it.
It's a shift, Amin, away, and this is going to keep happening more and more in content. It's a shift away from journalists to more former athletes.
So, really quick, one of the things that was special about that show was it was a time when sports media was not monolithic. There was an accusation of East Coast bias, so this show was designed to have Kalashaw in Dallas and Blackest Stone in Chicago, and all these people were representing different perspectives from around the country of these sports stories. One of the things that's happened because of Twitter and social media is this groupthink where you don't even have a diversity of opinion, journalism or not, across many of these topics that's based geographically. It's just you got to find the people who are just a little bit out there.
If you do not know the history of this, and the history of this will get lost in whatever it is the evolution of sports media is, but there was a time that ESPN didn't actually have a weighty sports credibility. So what they did is they went and bought a bunch of sports writers, and just by being able to put behind them Chicago Tribune, Dallas Morning News, LA Times, the words borrowed newspaper credibility,
Sports washing.
and then terminated those things. Sports sections were not able to endure that. The only one who sat that out was the New York Times. They would not allow their sports writers to be shared by ESPN because they saw what ESPN was doing in grabbing all of the writers like me. I was never on Around the Horn, but they were grabbing a bunch of people to keep them, to buy them, to purchase them so that they could have the credibility. And then what ended up happening is they outlived the relevance of many of those newspapers by buying their star columnists and using that credibility to give them a coast-to-coast appeal before they could authentically be known as not the worldwide leader, but the leader in America, because they had a bunch of people from all over the country, and they were just buying the credibility of the newsroom so that it didn't even matter what any of those people were saying. It just mattered that you were able to put a newsroom behind you that said Chicago Tribune, LA Times, and all of that
Morning
stuff.
Star.
Denver. Dan,
Post.
were you too good for Around the Horn? Why weren't you on Around the Horn?
He did PTI.
I was doing Pardon the Interruption, and I don't think
Same
they.
office.
I don't think they. I don't think they ever invited me to do Around
What?
the Horn. I
Hey,
don't
hey,
think.
That's
right
why
here,
it got
buddy.
canceled.
Never got invited to Around the Horn. Everyone's like, why don't you ever do Around the Horn? Like, they never asked.
But I would have said no if they had.
Me too.
We have missed her, this delightful fountain of football information. Mina Kimes is back with us. Before we get to her and rushing through all the football information we can give you, I want to congratulate Adam and Jess as our Miller Lite winners of our contest. Adam and Jess, come on in here. You can stand in the back of the room awkwardly during the segment. You can be applauded by Mina Kimes here. You can just come out here. Congratulations. Put them in the back of the room. Get them to sit in or stand in the shipping container. Let's have them be a part of what it is that we're doing here, however awkwardly that is, because we are always grateful for
They're like,
our
"No,
best
thanks."
customers. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they want to be with us. I think it's just the general hygiene of Chris Cody. I'm not totally sure. David Sampson didn't want to be touched by him. You can make all the faces you want, Jeremy. David Sampson did not want to be touched by him. So
David Sampson.
I know, but I'm just telling you that it may be that Adam and Jess don't want to be that close to Chris Cody. Mina Kimes is a really great source of football information, and her podcast, which actually stars her dog Lenny, is something you should be listening to.
I do have a question for Mina that's not football related. Mina, can you leave food unattended in your house, or does your dog devour it? Because right now we have lunch out there, and I grabbed a quick bite, and I was going to leave the rest until after we talk to you. But then Jess's dog is around, and I didn't trust my food to sit out on the table without Jess's dog attacking it. So I wondered if Lenny's the same way. Does he just attack any food indiscriminately if it's left out?
Yeah, he's the same way. We have to if I have any food, not even like unpackaged food, packaged food, it has to be on a counter high enough for him to not get to. We have had some disasters in the past, gifts of chocolate left on credenzas, emergency trips to the veterinarian because of his absolutely insatiable appetite.
That happened
Mina,
again.
have you ever taken Lenny to get his picture with Santa Claus?
We did, yeah. Obviously before I had an actual child. I think it was about 5 years ago in New York. I have the picture somewhere if you guys want to see it.
I do want to see it, but I had a bit of an incident. Willow and I went to get her picture taken with Santa a few weeks ago, and no, Willow did not bite Santa. I went on the website to look at the photo after it had been uploaded, and I scrolled through about 200 pictures of a man dressed up as Santa holding people's pets while you could clearly see the outline of his balls in every single picture.
The man or the pets?
The man's balls were front and center. I think the photographer was crotch height for all of these pictures. And as I scrolled through, all I could see was this man's ball sack inside his red pants.
Now I want to see it.
I will show it to you. I
wow.
don't want to put it on screen. Dan's been like begging me. He's like, please send it to the video team. I'm like, I feel bad because this man's identity will be revealed if that happens.
Is it like thumbprints?
It's balls. It is balls.
I didn't think, I've got to be honest, put it on the poll here. Did you think that Santa had balls? because I really thought he was without genitalia.
I thought Mrs.
Damn,
Claus had
Mrs.
him.
Claus? Yeah, what are we doing?
Poor
now?
Mrs. Claus.
I know, but I thought of him as more of like a doll. I don't think of him as having genitalia. Certainly not genitalia that would be imprinted by tight pants.
You don't think he has jingle bells?
Let me take this picture for a walk. Goo!
Let's go ahead and speed up the music so we can get as much football information out of this woman as we possibly can. She has spent 10 minutes just staring
At balls.
at jolly old St. Ravens, Steelers. Mina, what do you got?
Like what happened, or
Just what did you find interesting about it?
Yeah, I think the Steelers' defense, the way that they handled Lamar, the way they played him, the way that they coordinated their rush to prevent him from escaping the pocket, and their coverage downfield. Frankly, he was like 1 for 6 on plays that he extended, which is very unusual for Lamar Jackson. And to me, that speaks to how well they married the rush and their coverage, and just how sticky that coverage was on the back end.
Mina, on Tony's Top 5 this week, I proclaimed that the window for the San Francisco 49ers is closed. Do you agree with me?
I think you might be right, in part because of the Detroit Lions' ascendance. Because if the Lions weren't where they were, I would say that the Niners are still in this, because after the Lions, I think it's pretty equal. I would put the Eagles obviously above them, but yeah, right now I don't see this Niners team competing with this Lions team. And then the other thing you're just seeing, I mean, we were asked, what's wrong with the Niners? Are we all mad? Does Kyle Shanahan stink? This is attrition, guys. This team has made it so far in the playoffs every year. They have lost talent. It's very hard to stay dominant in the NFL like that year after year after year if you go that far in the postseason.
Mina, how's it feel to become a Simpsons character?
It's exciting. I haven't seen the final version yet, but you guys know I'm a Lisa stan, so it's pretty exciting for me. I love The Simpsons, so I've actually gone back and like revisited some of the old episodes, and they really hold up.
What are the memorable details from being a part of that experience?
It hasn't happened yet. It's December 9th,
Okay.
so check it out. It's sorry.
No, I didn't.
It's,
I thought that those things
yeah.
were done before they aired.
No. They've prepared a lot of stuff beforehand, the Simpsons theme or whatnot. But it's Bengals Cowboys, which I actually think is great for us, because I feel like it's like a game that, shall we say, people might be seeking additional entertainment. So yeah, I'm excited.
The Chiefs are the blank best team in football.
Not.
Whoa.
I was looking for a number. I was looking for how many teams you put ahead of the team that has, ostensibly the best record in the league.
Second, I know they just lost to the Bills, and I think right now the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens are probably about on the same tier for me in the AFC. But I also think the Chiefs will probably be better in the postseason than they were in the regular season, as they have so often been in recent years.
Mina, I'm also going on Dominique's podcast later today. Can you give me something smart to say about the Ravens-Chargers game on Monday night?
Yeah. So I think one thing I find fascinating about the Chargers is there's this impression that they're this like run-first team, and they're really good at pounding the Brock, and Greg Roman's their offensive coordinator, when actually the opposite is true. They're not very good at running the football, and they've become very pass-heavy. Greg Roman has let Justin Herbert cook, and I think it's going to be a difficult matchup for this Ravens pass defense.
Mina, make a case for the Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl.
I think they have a ceiling that makes it possible, because Jordan Love, when he can make every throw, he can make incredible plays. The problem is he has struggled a bit against the blitz and the turnovers, but when that offense is clicking, they're as good as any in football. And I think the quarterback we saw really heat up in the second half of last year, so it's entirely possible we might see the same thing this year.
Mina, when's the last time you went to the bank?
Like a physical bank?
Physical bank. Walked into the bank, filled out a slip, handed it to the teller.
It's been years. God. Maybe 6 years ago?
Your thoughts on the Giants?
Tommy DeVito, I guess, is, obviously they're doing it because they don't want to trigger Daniel Jones's injury guarantee. It's not a particularly appealing. When we're going to look at all the jobs, and I'm assuming Brian Dable
Speed it up.
is I think what about the Giants? I don't know.
Well, they had
Brian
a big
Dable would be an excellent Santa Claus.
They had a big news week. What do you think of what happened with the Jets news week?
Is Brian Dable the coach who would be the best fake Santa Claus in the NFL?
Andy Reid.
I kind of think so.
Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah.
Mina, when's the last time you Irish goodbye?
I'm about to do it on this show, honestly. I'm thinking about it. Giants questions. I do it all the time.
Is Bo Nix turned the corner?
Yeah, I think he's played well. I also think that the infrastructure in Denver is fantastic. It's a really good offensive line. Sean Payton is calling a hell of an offense right now. But Nix himself is playing better, and I think it's all working.
Are the Texans very, very far from being a top-tier team in the NFL?
No, they're not very far. The offensive line has just been such a nightmare for them, but the defense is still really, really good, and I still believe in the quarterback.
Which team should hire Bill Belichick?
I guess the Jags, maybe. They need like a total culture revamp. My concern is I saw a report that he wants to stick with Trent Baalke, which I think would be a huge mistake if that's true.
Your thoughts on the Jets week?
I mean...
Speed it up. Speed it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something to say. Like, this organization is a circus. It's a tire fire. It's been the case all season. I don't know what learning about the owner being somewhat of a meddler changes any of that. It certainly doesn't absolve the GM or Aaron Rodgers, whatever. So, yeah, I guess it's obviously a poorly run organization, but I don't think it's all entirely on Woody Johnson. I think a lot of people bear responsibility for that.
How common do you think it is for an NFL owner to be that kind of meddlesome?
More common than you think.
The majority of them are or aren't?
No, but a lot of them, I think, are more involved than people think and have, so the biggest nugget that people are kind of focused on, and it is crazy, is that Woody Johnson suggested that Aaron Rodgers be benched, and people were shocked. Well, Aaron Rodgers was not benched, so that suggests there's a limit to his meddling there, and I believe that owners offer more crazy suggestions all the time that aren't taken into account.
Better luck medium.
Is Denzel Washington a top 10 actor of all time?
Yeah.
Cool. Mina, thank you for the time. We always appreciate it. We will talk to you soon, I hope. Nice seeing you. Is she going to do the Irish goodbye?
Very poorly, I might add.
May your life, she just did the Irish goodbye. May your life be filled with staring at Santa's balls.
Welcome, everybody, to DraftKings Crowning Moments. It is a segment in which we put a big old spotlight on some winning bets from the National Football League weekend. Who doesn't love winners? Let's get right to it. This week, Derrick Henry. Someone put $5,000 on him to score an anytime touchdown. That's a pretty taxed price. It's at minus 180, and the big bet paid off to a massive $7,777.77. That's how you back King Henry. $2,000 was the bet someone put on Jahmyr Gibbs to have a rush longer than 16.5 yards, and it paid out a cool $3,600. Way to go. We love these winners. And here's the real MVP move. Someone put $300 on Taysom Hill to be the first touchdown scorer at plus 1,000 odds, turning that one into 3,300 big ones. Crowning Moments is presented by DraftKings. Submit your winning bets for a chance to be featured. DraftKings, the crown is yours. What's up, everybody? It's Mike, and it's the holiday season. It's approaching anyways, and the holiday season means family gatherings. You're going to be hosting your family, opening up your doors to, let's face it, potentially some problems. There's always family disagreements and things up for debate. Well, let me tell you something that's not up for debate. The great taste of Miller Lite. In these polarizing times, it's good to have something that we can find general consensus on, and that is that beautiful white can, Miller Lite. Is awesome. It makes any time a Miller time, and it's got tastes that you know that you can depend on. A beer that is brewed for people who actually like the taste of beer. And let's not forget, simple ingredients and the fact that Miller Lite is only 96 calories, folks. That's right, and just 3.2 grams per 12 ounces. Making memories at year-end gatherings, I ask you? Well, make those memories taste like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan and find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.